everybody. Marhaba, welcome. Assalamu alaikum. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all the distinguished guests and all my friends who have been with us throughout this journey. And I welcome you to join this particular webinar session from the UAE chapter perspective of PMI. I'm seeing people are yet joining us in, so that will give us some ample time to wait for a couple of minutes. Meanwhile, I'm seeing that a lot of people are joining us from different region here. So please introduce yourself in the chat and where you're joining from and which kind of sector do you work with. Uh, Perfect. And I can see that we have really achieving the really feats one by one. Okay, because we have really spanned out more than 500 registration this time as well. And we are really glad and happy about this particular milestone feat that a lot of people are showing the enthusiasm and also engagement throughout these webinars. It's absolute pleasure and delight to connect with all of the global community of experienced project professionals like you. And of course, this is the space where all the ideas meet with the actions and expertise meet with the inspiration. My name is Anchal Chaube, and I'm your host here and a moderator as well for today's session. Behind the scenes, I have joined by colleagues Amir and also Nikki, ensuring that everything runs fine and seamlessly so that we can all focus on learning and engaging meanwhile. Now, today's topic is also something which has been very much in the parlance of the current situation, is very much relevant. And I would like to start with the kind of few facts which comes to my mind about this area is recent studies around McKinsey Global. When they did the survey on AI, uh, over 72% of the organizations who have adopted AI, yet there are very few, less than 20% have the very formal governance framework to manage the ethical risks, creating the massive leadership gap in the execution of these kind of AI related programs. Second fact is from the PMI itself, which come across the research, and that highlights that how the AI is can really automate up to 40% of the project management related tasks. That's the PMI itself showing in the research. But the project failure rates are driven by human alignment, trust, accountability, and not from the algorithmic performance of these models. So as we say that in the era where the rapid AI adoption, the speed builds the momentum, but actually the governance builds the real trust. And the trust is the ultimate return of investment. So the artificial intelligence is no longer just an optimizing tool for the different workflows in our work ethics and related areas. It is actively reshaping that how we are going to allocate the resource in our projects, managing the risks, driving the strategic values. But as we all as a project leaders, our greatest challenge is not about how to meet the pace of accelerating AI adoption. That automatically is going to happen, but actually how to lead with the unwavering accountability, transparency, and ethics around it. So, today in this webinar session, we are going to really take a step beyond the hype to explore the practical framework for responsible governance that is going to turn the trust into their highest performing asset. Before we launch ourselves full fledged, I would like to definitely tell you some housekeeping notes. This session is going to last somewhere around 70 minutes, and we start with the introduction with the chapter, followed by the main presentation by our esteemed speaker. After the presentation, we are going to host the Q&A session. Please post your topic-related questions in the Q&A panel, not in the chat for that matter. And feel free to share your reflection in the chat, your collective experience with the topic, enriching the discussions and engaging the discussions. Of course, this is a more conversational part of the session where the speaker is definitely want engagement from all of you. So we encourage you to post your comments in the chat so that we can see and then reflect back on that during the session as well. Just like any webinar from PMI UAE Chapter, we are deemed by the promise that every webinar is going to earn you 2 PDUs, and the PDU claim will be received by all of you and the participant in their respective email address after the webinar. And of course, you can use the PMI portal to register that code and claim that. The code will also be shared with you in the chat at the end of the session. So with that, let's begin with the snapshot of the PMI UAE chapter and the volunteers who drive this all engagement behind the scenes with us. So allow me to share my screen over here, and that will take us to the brief introduction of the chapter. So the chapter is definitely making the knowns of the rounds, most importantly the Middle East, and it has been the part of 1969 based PMI organization. And even after 50 years, we are sounding so much relevant and so much engaging throughout the community with the training programs, accreditation, and community throughout. The chapter vision is about empowering and influencing the individual with the innovate project economy principles to turning their ideas into the reality. And the chapter mission is says that to disrupt and create value, and the opportunities to all our chapter members and the partners to become agile, innovative, productive in the platform for the growth of project economy. The chapter known facts and some new facts false possibly. So we are definitely run by 100% volunteers. We are crossing 6,000 plus membership in the chapter and also ranked in the top 5 in the EMA region. We depend on all of you to make our chapter activities as interactive and invigorating as possible. We also do a lot of other things, but board of directors is being led by Ms. Amina Abdul Rahim, and the rest of the board of directors are supporting her from their different chairs. Membership benefits comes separately the chapter side of the thing, where you get a lot of networking opportunity, collaborations with industry chapters, very community focused groups, learning and sharing knowledge, mentoring program, and the career growth options. Events is the part of the chapter activities and one important pillar, and this webinar is the part of event section, where we bring all those thought leadership to you on the different notes. Member corners and spotlight initiatives definitely give you opportunity to voice out your contribution to the community and then getting shine towards the chapter membership perspective. PDU information, as I mentioned, that you will receive an email of the PDU code. You can log into ccrspmi.org website, and then of course directly from the PMI website itself to report your PDUs directly using your screenshot. As you can see, you can submit the particular PDU code and then apply it, and automatically it will land up to your account. You want to engage with the chapter more regularly, then definitely YouTube channel is recording all these webinars for your further reference. And then of course the different LinkedIn and the Facebook WhatsApp community are also very much active and engaged from the marketing perspective. You can definitely visit PMIUAE.org as the website for getting much more engaging and latest updates from that side of the thing. So with that, that is the chapter introduction we have. Now, my opportunity goes to introduce you to the speaker, and the speaker with us is Jumoke. She's the project leader, business strategist, leadership coach, and ethics advocate with 2 decades of experience across project management, strategy execution, research, enterprise risk management, business analysis, and organization capability development. She is also a managing partner of an Okin Limited value over there and immediate past president of the PMI Ghana Chapter, where she has served the project management profession in different leadership capacities since 2011. She is also a PMI Global Volunteer and author of the PMP Exam Mastery and founder of a Global Ethic Project Leadership, an initiative where advancing ethical leadership, responsible governance, and the value-based decision-making in the project management and organization prevails there. So her work is going to connect strategy to execution to governance and ultimately to leadership accountability to complete the dots together. So with that, I'm really glad to have Jumoke with you. And Jumoke, I believe that the stage is all yours to share your all different knowledge area and the thought leadership with all of us.
Hello, thanks for having me. Thanks for the introduction. And I would like to express my profound gratitude and appreciation to PMI UAE for having me today. Please, can you confirm if you can see my screen?
Yeah, would you please mind making it? Yeah, we can see in the full screen now. Perfect, looks fine.
Okay, so today's topic is AI, ethics, and governance. the future of responsible project leadership. Assalamu alaikum, naharakum sahi. I hope I didn't butcher that, but it's my attempt to say hello to you. So what is leadership in AI-enabled world? I know that some of us are already using AI. What does it mean when we talk of leadership? We are simply referring to the part that governs the decisions AI helps us to shape. AI helps to make decision, recommendation, and all that. So AI is an enabler, but what differentiates what you is leadership? I would like to put this in context. What I'm doing here today, I am not here to talk about AI technology. I'm not here to talk about how to use AI or what is AI or what AI can do. I am looking at AI from a leadership background, and I'm looking at the risks associated with it and have conversation when it comes to governance. So AI on its own, what do you use it for? You know already that you can use it to predict, you can use it to achieve recommendation, it can help generate ideas for you, and you can use it to automate. The MC already spoke about what you can use AI for or what AI is being used for. But the aspect we hear little about is ethics. What you are using AI for, how fair are you? Would the outcome harm anyone? What is the impact on stakeholders? These are the aspects that it is not as spoken about as you do that of AI. And the one that is of utmost interest is governance. Who is accountable for the decision you use AI to make? Because AI will recommend, but when you make decision based on the recommendation or the inference that AI provides for you, you will be held accountable for that. Who is held accountable for that? For the actions that you rely on AI to make. So can we create more value with AI without creating more unmanaged consequences? My presentation will speak about some of the incidents that AI has generated. And when I say incidents, they are not pleasant ones, they are negative ones. But what is presentation without a storyline? So I have a story, which I titled the 78% decision. So I read stories. So I have my story here and I'll be reading it. Let me take you into a project meeting. Now you're in the project meeting. Imagine you are leading a major infrastructure project. The project is already under pressure. The schedule is tight. Costs are rising. And your CEO has made it very clear. We cannot afford another delay. Your team has been evaluating several contractors. Then your AI system produces a recommendation. Hey, it analyzes years of contractor performance data, project history, delivery records, and risk indicators. And of course, we can always rely on AI. And it gives a very clear.
Jumoke, just a second. Some audience is telling that your volume is a bit low. Would you mind please speaking near to the mic or something? Is it possible? That will help the audience to hear it much more louder a bit. Or you can speak louder as well.
How do you hear me? Do you hear me clearly?
I can hear you clearly a bit. Volume is a bit of low, so if you can speak a bit louder, it will help. No problem. I can hear you clearly.
Okay. And it gives a clear answer. Do not select contractor B. Probability of schedule failure is 78%. Then someone says, there we have it. The AI has done the analysis for us. But then someone asked one question. Why 78%? Nobody in the room could immediately explain it. Another question popped up. what data produced that recommendation? Yet no one could answer. Then another question popped up. Was contractor B fairly represented in that data? And finally, another question popped up. If we reject this contractor and the decision turns out to be wrong, who is accountable? Suddenly, it is no longer an AI question, it is a leadership question. And that is why we are here looking at AI, ethics, and governance. So, how do we have AI and ethics and governance interacting? The assumption is they do interact. AI will create capability. It will help leaders analyze information, predict outcomes, and make faster decisions. If you use Copilot, ChatGPT, you know that already, that you can have it analyze huge documents in seconds. All right, so it will enhance capability. So AI creates capability, ethics provides direction where you are going. It would ask whether those decisions are fair. I am not sure how many of us, when we use the AI, ChatGPT, for instance, or Copilot, we ask ourselves that what we are doing, the information we are feeding the model, whether it is fair or not. How transparent are we? And what shows our level of responsibility when you are using AI? These are the questions you are supposed to be asking yourself each time you are making use of any AI model, all right? And then governance will provide control. We feel, okay, so let me use myself as example. Each time I talk to people, maybe there's a presentation, they submit proposal and you question it. They feel because they use AI is correct, and you will hear something like, oh, but I use AI. AI is almost like garbage in, garbage out. I have had instances where I have used a model and I will tell the model, you are not paying attention. You are not using the information I'm giving you as you should. Sometimes the model will argue back and say, I have done exactly what you asked me to do. Then I take screenshots or I turn it into a file and I present it back to the model and I ask the model, would you say what you have delivered is 100% accurate? And always 100%, 1 out of 1, it will come back and say, I am sorry, I cannot confirm that it is 100% accurate. This is where the human part comes in when you are using AI. So don't get carried away that AI is automatically correct all the time. So governance will provide control. It will establish who decides. Someone has to make decision, and that person who makes decision of what, how, when you use AI will be held accountable for the outcome of that decision. So together, AI, ethics, and governance, they shape responsible project leadership. I'm assuming I'm talking to leaders here. You may not have big title, but I just finished a presentation today and I mentioned that leadership is in 3 levels: leading self, leading others, and then leading organization. So you are all leaders on this call. It's just that it's at different levels. And you have to be mindful of ethics and governance when you are using AI. Now, it is obvious that AI is being adopted faster than governance, and that's why we are having issues. So it is high time governance catches up with the adoption of AI. And I'm hoping with the 400 plus people on this call, you will become advocates of ethics and good governance when it comes to the usage of AI. So the executive challenge is not adoption of AI. It is responsible influence over decisions. Each time you input data into a model, be it Copilot or ChatGPT or any model whatsoever, know that whatever it produces, whatever it gives you, if you decide to use it, you become responsible for the consequences. If it is positive, all well and good. If it is negative, then you have to pay for it. Now, I heard the MC refer to some research data, and I was happy that he did. In 2025, McKinsey conducted a survey on the state of AI. Out of the 1,993 respondents across 105 countries they surveyed, 88% said that their organizations regularly use AI in at least one business function. So 88% of the 1,993 respondents affirmed the usage of AI. So I said, since I'm having presentation with PMI UAE, let me try and get data that narrows down on UAE. And this was what I found. 64% of the UAE's working age population use generative AI products in the second half of 2025, according to this Stanford HAI's 2026 AI Index. And so I went a step further to find out what the population of this working age in UAE is, and I was shocked. It's over 70%. Over 70% of the population of UAE are working age, all right? And then 64% of this population affirmed, that they use generative AI products in the second half of 2025. And this is in line with what we are saying, that for AI, adoption is not a challenge, but is governance a challenge? Let's see data, whether governance is a challenge. Now, please pay attention to the figure. The 362 is documented incidents. They may be more than this, but a documented incident tells us that 362 documented incidents that are not too pleasant have been recorded. And I was like, okay, this speaks to my topic, AI, ethics, and governance. So capability is moving quickly. The leadership question is whether accountability, transparency, and controls are moving with it. Let's see whether it is so. So I picked the 362 documented incidents across the 105 and then looked at the progression. The first data before you got to the 362 was taken in 2023. I mean, documented incidents, people that went ahead to maybe report, or there were legal issues and then resulted in the documentation. In 2023, it was 123 documented incidents. Then in 2024, it increased to 233. That was a growth of 56.4. It increased documented incidents. And then in 2025, from 2024 to 2025, we have 362, and the growth of the documented incidents increased by 55.4%. I mean, this is more than half. We need to pay attention to this. So, to put it within context, what were some of the documented AI incidents that happened? We have algorithmic discrimination, facial recognition. Have you heard situation where people will say, that is not me, they have used AI? Sometimes people are actually lying, but most of the time is the truth. Someone has taken your picture and has created something, and you are not the one. So these are some of the incidents, and you can read about this Detroit wrongful arrest case where facial recognition was wrongly used to arrest someone else that wasn't the culprit. Another incident is AI-enabled deception. deepfakes, where people use it like a form of identity theft. I'm not trying to scare anyone here. I'm just trying to put this within context that as you are using AI, you have to be conscious of the ethical side and the need for governance, okay? And then the third group of documented incidents is AI autonomy, where people give autonomy to AI to take control maybe of vehicle or machinery and all that. And there have been records of death and other safety incidents as a result of that. Now, I decided to put this incident in 5 different categories. Category 1, safety and physical harm. AI contributes to an unsafe real-world decision. AI will not, when AI makes recommendation, let's say ChatGPT or Copilot, it's not Copilot that would implement that. Human would do that. And so that is where the accountability, ethics, and governance comes in. And at what level of governance do we need at what point? This is one of the things this presentation will be addressing. All right. So governance question here, when it comes to safety and physical harm, was the system adequately tested and supervised before deployment, in spite of what the model tells you to do? Because you are human, you are the one providing the data. Before you eventually put it out there for people to use, has it been tested? 2, the second category of the AI incident, fairness and discrimination. AI produces systematically unequal information. You can pick a model, I can pick the same model, then someone says, we need this, and based on the inputs or the prompt we give the model, we can have different feedback, all right? And to each of us, it will be accurate. So the governance question you are supposed to be asking is, what was bias assessed across affected populations? That is from the data you provide the model. It has to satisfy or answer the fairness and discrimination question. The third category is truth, trust, and information integrity. AI will produce or amplify false information. Whatever information, that's why I said garbage in, garbage out. The governance question you should be asking when it comes to truth, trust, and information integrity is, who verifies AI-generated content before it is trusted or distributed? I have had instances where I was relying on model, and for the entire day, I could not use the outcome or the output from what the model was giving me, because whatever it gives me, because I'm human and I'm applying the ethics and governance, I keep on saying, no, this is not me. This is not what I want you to do. Do it this way. And I spend the entire day doing that. Just imagine if I didn't pay attention, I didn't wear the goggle of ethics, I didn't apply governance, I would have put it out there. And some of us have done that, that someone will call you that, are you sure about this? Even the data, when you ask something and AI or a model gives you a response, please verify. You can use the same AI to verify that this figure, that figure, can you provide a source? This figure, that figure, can you confirm that it is 100% accurate? And it will shock you, the response of the model. And then number 4 category, privacy, security, and fraud. AI enables exposure, impersonation, or malicious activity. Some of us, we have used a different model that your information is out there, and anyone with malicious intent can actually mess you up. So the governance question you should be asking is, are appropriate controls in place against misuse and data leakage? So sometimes you're working in an organization, you've been given something to work on, maybe a report, summarize documents, write proposal, and you just pick the entire document, boom, into the model. It is information you have left there that can go against your organization. So you are responsible to what information you put in the model. You have to be mindful of privacy, security, and fraud. The fifth categorization that I came up with the AI, based on the previous AI incident, is accountability and decision governance. Now, who is ultimately accountable when AI goes wrong? Usually when it goes right, I think we don't think much about it. It is when decision based on AI goes wrong that we look for who we should hold accountable. The governance question you should be asking when it comes to accountability and decision governance is who is ultimately accountable when the AI decision inference recommendation goes wrong. So I want you to think in your organization, do you have anyone, especially if you use AI, that will be held accountable for such? Now, let's talk about accountability. AI changes the recommendation. Can help you do that, but it does not remove the decision. When you ask the model to do something for you, it will give you ideas, maybe inferences, and you would have to decide that, okay, I'm going with this or I'm modifying it this. So that decision lies with you as human. So accountability must remain visible from model output to business consequence. Okay, now I came with this acronym. D stands for data. What informs the data that will make what the information or the prompt you are giving AI reliable? What is the quality of data that you are using? What is the source? Then AI itself, what is it inferring? Because what AI is inferring, or what the model is inferring, is not mandating. It's optional. It's not mandating that you should do it. So whatever the model is inferring, what are the consequences if you make decision based on that? And now the third point you should consider when it comes to accountability when you're using AI is recommendation. The AI or the model will recommend whatever, when you put the prompt, whatever it tells you is recommendation. It's not saying you must do it. So the suggestion, the inference, the recommendation, you have to analyze from the perspective of ethics, your business value, your vision, your mission, the impact on stakeholders. You have to look at this in the whole context before you make decision. And I deliberately place leader between recommendation and consequence, because the recommendation, someone would have to write on it to make decision. So what would you decide? What will be the basis of decision? So the fact that we have AI does not mean you have stopped growth mindset, continuously learning and continuously improving, so that you are informed when you have to make decision based on what AI has given you. And of course, you have to be mindful that the decision I'm about to make, what happens if it goes wrong? So the most dangerous governance failure is a right-looking answer with no accountable decision owner. So if all you do is you use AI to make decision, a recommendation and all that, and you do not have a structure to hold someone accountable for decision that has been made, then you are treading on dangerous ground. So I have looked at accountability. Let's look at ethical risk when it comes to AI usage. Now, there are 6 questions that I've presented here, all right, to help you and your organization thrive or survive with the use of AI. So 10 ethical principles into explicit decision test. 1, fairness. Could a system systematically disadvantage a group? Remember, I mentioned the source of your data. Is it clean? Is it right? Is it from a right source? is what you are giving the model to, asking to make recommendation, is it fair to everyone involved, maybe individuals, organizations, departments within organization or organizations, communities, all right? Secondly, how transparent is it? Can affected stakeholders understand the basis for action? Let's say you gave a prompt, a decision was made, like the story I read, where 78% suggest we should eliminate a vendor and pick a different vendor. If we went along with that decision, is it a decision that whoever is accountable can explain to the other stakeholders and it will be understood, it will be seen as fair? Can you explain it? Can you explain your decision? The recommendation you leverage on from AI, can you explain it? Are you using data that are entitled and prepared to use? So what is the privacy level of the data you are using? And of course, accountability. Is a named person empowered to accept, reject, or escalate? So if you work in an organization and you are using AI, what are you using the AI for? Who makes the final decision? And that person is who we are saying will be accountable. If you have no person named to make such decision, then it is dangerous because you have no one to hold accountable. Now, how reliable is the decision you are using AI to make? What evidence shows the system works in this context? Since I gave this topic out that I was going to present, I have tried all manner of things. I have given false information to try and see whether the model will be able to pick it out. No. I have given right information and the model has decided. In fact, sometimes I feel the models just today, they feel like, I want to work, and they will work well. And another day they go like, no, I'm not working today, and they don't work well. So if you are not intentional to be on the top of your game, to be able to assess, critique whatever is given out, you make decision that will be erroneous. All right. So now let's look at governance. Good governance is decision architecture, because you are just like project management. When you say governance, you have a single point that makes decision. I'm sure some of you will be wondering, so are you saying in the entire organization, if you're using AI, only one person would have to make the decision? You can have it in levels where decisions, like when you are summarizing notes, maybe a different level employee can be accountable for that level. So it can be in different levels. But if you are making decision on behalf of organization, on behalf of your business, then accountability is key. And that is why governance cannot be overemphasized. All right. So governance will answer the questions technology cannot answer on its own, because the technology will give you output based on what you have given to it. But there are other nuances that you know that the technology may not know. So I also came up with this. P stands for purpose. What is the purpose you are using the model or technology for? What data? What is the source of data you are using? Is it reliable? Who has the authority to make decision of the model you are using? And what evidence do you have to buttress or back the decision you are making, if you're making, if you're the one making the decision or being accountable? Now, we know in project management, there's a point where you escalate your threshold limit. Who and how would you escalate? Is it clear in your governance structure? And C stands for controls. What controls, what measures have you put in place? I will be so happy if after my presentation, I would have anyone from any organization that will share structures they have in place to ensure good governance when it comes to the usage of AI. So governance should be the strongest where consequences are highest. So if you have to make decision and the possible consequence is not that enormous, it's not high, then governance may relax. But where you have consequences that maybe like death, maybe like loss of revenue to the organization that could lead to liquidation, then governance has to be very strong to ensure that to limit the probability of making wrong decision. So from all what I have said, you should get to understand that human is still key when it comes to the usage of AI. A human in the loop that is just putting in the prompt is not the same as a human in control that has ethics and governance in mind. All right. So meaningful oversight requires competence, context, authority, and evidence. Without competence, how would you be able to analyze the recommendation or the inference the model has given you? Without putting it in context, you will end up using one size fits all, which will not be useful for you. Without you having someone in authority that can make decision, accountability becomes almost nil. And then if you do not have evidence to use to compare, to help you make decision, then you will be likened to a human in the loop instead of a human in control. So when you need competence, you must understand the decision and its risk. That's where competency comes in. And the context is when you understand stakeholder and business impact, that this decision I'm about to make, this is the impact on our stakeholders. This will be the impact on our business. This will be the impact on the health of our employees. So context is key. And of course, authority is this person or this group of people can reject, can accept, can override, and can escalate. And this has to be clear in your organization who can make this decision. And of course, evidence, who can inspect what supports the recommendation. So if the model gives you a recommendation that do this, how would you inspect and compare and decide that the recommendation suits the context, that the inference suits the context? You will need evidence, which is also data driven. So the reviewer can only click approve. You have a human interface, not human oversight. If all the reviewer can do is approve without putting these 4 different attributes in play to be able to decide whether what the model has given is good for the organization or it's not good for the organization, or we can modify it, then you just have a human in the loop and not a human in control. So before you ask, is the output accurate? Because some people, after you provide the input to the model, they only want to see, okay, so the output, is it accurate? Can we use it? I think the first question you should be asking, is the decision context sound? Because the context would influence how you ask the question and how you interpret it. So data governance becomes leadership governance. And that's why I'm assuming I'm talking to leaders today. And it is driven by data. All right. And by now, I hope I have successfully presented to you or convinced you that decisions that you take from AI models, they do have consequences. And the consequences are in different levels. If you are mindful of that, then ethics will be real to you and governance will also be real to you. So before you decide whether the output of what you are asking the model is accurate, you need to understand the context. And how do you understand the context? Is whatever you are inputting into the model, the data, where did it come from? What's the source? Are you entitled to use it? I gave example earlier. If you're working in an organization and they gave you a task, maybe write proposal You just pick the document has been given with all manner of information that is not supposed to be out there. You input it into the model. Are you entitled to do that? What are the rights that you have? And what is the quality? Is it fit for purpose? What the model has presented to you, is it fit for purpose? So if you are just waiting to grab whatever the model gives you and then you use, you may not be able to answer this question appropriately. And of course, the data you are using, is it biased? Who could be disadvantaged? Like the scenario I gave in my story, is it biased? And who can access or change it? The information you have put there, who can access it? All right. And the last is retention. When should it be deleted? When should it be deleted? I don't know any of us who deletes information you provide the model to delete. I don't know. So bad data does not become good governance because a sophisticated model processed it. If you put poor, bad data in the highest, best model, it will not still change it. It will not change the outcome, and it cannot change what governance are you giving, because the source of the information is even wrong. So whatever the model is processing wrong information. All right. So let's look at risk-based governance, because risk is everyday's life now. Not every AI case deserves the same level of control. I mentioned it earlier that you will have levels depending on the depth or the quantum of work to be done, as well as the level of the consequences of the decision being made. So governance should scale with consequence, uncertainty, reversibility, and potential harm. If it is slow, like you want to use the model to draft email, letter, or use it to summarize a document, without releasing sensitive information, if you want to use it for meeting notes, we can say that the consequences that surrounds this is low. So the governance level doesn't have to be stringent. Medium, by my definition, this is just for purpose of presentation, okay? So medium, if you want to use the model to forecast, or you want to use it to prioritize, you have items and you need to prioritize, the consequences may be medium, average, all right? High one is one that has consequences that would affect safety, maybe can lead to death, eligibility, that can have financial or right impacting decisions. That is huge, and you may want to pay much attention, put governance structure to ensure that, I would not say to eliminate totally, but to eliminate nearly totally negative consequences, so you need to put structure in place. And the control intensity can be based on purpose and scope, data validation, output testing, human review, approval, or escalation. Just as you have it in project management, you have to know the level at which each of the people you have placed here, at low, at medium, at high, to make decision, at what threshold are they going to escalate? Human review, monitoring to ensure that you are providing, we have growth mindset and people are equipping the same. So the question is not, do we govern AI? Because some people may think you are trying to control things. It is how much governance does this decision deserve? How much governance does drafting an email deserve? How much governance does, if you want to make decision on safety, how much governance does it deserve? All right. So you can categorize as you deem fit within your organization. Now, for responsible AI project leadership framework, this is something I came up with 6 parts. Now, let's look at part 1, purpose. What decision are we trying to improve? It's almost like I'm repeating myself, because this drives how you feed the information into the model and how you analyze and how you write on the inference or the recommendation. What is the value you are expecting to get? What measurable value justifies AI? All right. And then data. What's data and assumption drive it? Is it clean data? Is it from a right source? Are you using data from 5 people to represent 1,000 sample size? And then often I hear people use the word most people are saying. Meanwhile, they have data from only 2 people. Then also risk. What could go wrong and to whom? That would influence how to create value and remain accountable. All right. And then governance. Who decides, who controls, and who escalates? Your AI project leadership framework must be able to address all these 6 elements. All right, must be able to address all these 6 elements if you really want to be accountable by the decision that you make relying on AI. Sorry. So use it before procurement, at decision gates, and throughout operation. So if you want to make procurement, you can pass it through this 6 part framework, responsible AI project leadership framework. If you want to make decision, you can pass it through this. If the decision you want to make pass all these 6 parts, then you are likely going to be in a good place. All right. So responsible AI is a life cycle discipline. It's not an end, it's a life cycle. It's not a one-time approval thing. So governance must travel with the project from the beginning, initiation, intent to impact. I'm sure you can tell I'm a teacher, so I'm using my hands a lot. So from initiating level, why do you want to use AI? Why AI? All right. The purpose. What value will it give? What risk appetite? You see, you cannot also go against your organizational risk appetite. So I'm assuming as you're on this call, if you work in an organization, you know the risk appetite of your organization as well as the risk threshold of your organization. The AI you want to use or the model you want to use, what is the level of the risk exposure? Is it within the risk appetite of your organization? If you are risk averse, if you are risk seeking, or you are risk neutral? All right. And then 2, plan it. How are you going to do it? You achieve that through data by assigning roles, who plays what, and then put in control. All right. And then 3, execute what you plan. Build it, provide information to the model, test, validate, engage, ask questions, present it this way and all that, and then monitor it. Is it working? Whatever decision you made based on the inference or the recommendation of the model, after you implement it, you need to monitor it based on performance. Check whether there's any bias you overlooked. What are the incidents? Is there drift? Has it shifted from your intended purpose when you initiated it here? And then operate. What did you learn from what you have implemented? And of course, you need to have audit. If you do not have audit, you will not have any trail of audit to be checking. Lessons, improvements, what other way or how other way you can implement it. So this is AI life cycle discipline, responsible AI life cycle discipline. The governance question changes as the project changes, but accountability must never disappear. Accountability cannot disappear as an ethical individual and group of people. Now, would you act on the machine's recommendation? Because if you presented data and then the model presents recommendation, would you or not? What would inform you not to act on it? And what would inform you to act that, oh, I trust the outcome or the output. Yes, I'm going with it. AI scores subcontractors on predicted schedule delay risk. And the recommendation, like I said in my story, was exclude supplier B from the next tender because the system also predicted that there will be a delay. The probability of delay is 78%. So now the project manager is under pressure to protect schedule and cost, because otherwise it will be delayed by 78%. What would you do? Before you act, ask yourself this question. What data produced the 78%? Was supplier B represented fairly? Can the recommendation be explained and challenged? That you can only explain and challenge and face when it's challenged if you were fair and you had good or clean data that you can also defend. Of course, if you were fair, then you will say yes. Otherwise, you have to think twice. Who can override your decision? This decision you want to make to exclude supplier B from the next tender, is there anyone within your organization that can override it? And also ask yourself, what happens if the model is wrong? If you can answer these 5 questions on recommendation by your models, whether co-pilots, whether ChatGPT, then you can go ahead and implement or take action based on the recommendation. If you cannot answer this question clearly, then you don't have any business acting on the AI or the model's recommendation. So there are 5 questions leaders should ask before approving AI. I'm also assuming that there are people that can make such decisions here. Boardroom does not need every technical answer. Just as we say, senior management do not have time to be reading a lot of documents and they just present a dashboard, summary, what is it called? Bar charts, report to them. The same way, they don't need to have every technical answer. They need the right governance questions. So if you are in a leadership position and someone is coming to present information on AI, whether we should use it, we should not use it, or the model has given this recommendation that this is a decision, that why are we doing this? Oh, the model says we should do it. And that's what he has said, and I trust the model. You as a leader, maybe you don't have you are not overly technically savvy, so you may not be able to question it, but you can ask these questions to help you determine what should be done. What decision exactly is the model influencing? What is it influencing? And what is the business value, as well as the downside? If we make this decision, what data, what assumptions and dependencies drive the output? We should know, or I'm assuming we know, that assumption is a source of risk to projects, all right? So if somebody came with a model, we should do this, we should do that, you need to find out what data, what's the source of data? What were some of the assumptions that were introduced? Sometimes, if you do not provide assumptions, sometimes the model itself makes some assumptions on your behalf. So you need to verify what assumptions were used, okay? And what dependencies drove the output. Who can challenge, who can override, or who can stop the decision you want to make at the boardroom level? Do you have, if you have shareholders, they may be able to override or challenge your decision. So if you have that, you have to think ahead on how to justify your decisions, all right? And then who owns the consequences if the system is wrong? I think each time you ask this last question, it's put everyone on hold, because you start thinking, what if it goes wrong? How will I justify it? Will I be able to justify it? What will the impact be? Is there a plan B? You'll be able to weigh options. The moment you start introducing who owns it, who is accountable for it, all right? So if leadership cannot answer these 5 questions, adoption is ahead of governance. So if you have adopted any recommendations or inference from model, all right, and now because of what we are doing now, you are now asking these 5 questions, then you went ahead of governance if you had no to any of these 5 questions. So as a project leader that I'm talking to this evening, I hope you know there's a difference between a project manager and a project leader. A project manager is higher in the responsibilities and expectations that they perform than a project manager. It's just like comparing manager to a leader. So you are here, I'm talking to you as a project leader. Your job is not to know everything the model knows. I need to know what ChatGPT, what does it work on, what drives it. You don't need that. Your job is to know what must be questioned before the organization acts on the recommendations of the model. So if you put a prompt in any model and it gives you response, what are the questions you would ask, before you can say, okay, this is near accurate. I like using the word near accurate. I don't want to say accurate, like, you understand? Okay. First of all, question assumptions and evidence that it has presented to you. Then go ahead to translate the technology into business and stakeholder impact. What are the impacts of this decision that we want to make on business? That's why you exist. Your stakeholder impact. If your stakeholders are not happy with you or it has negative impact on your stakeholders, that's the end of your business. Control. Embed decision gates and escalations like what I showed earlier, low, medium, and high. So if you are at low and it go to your threshold, you would escalate it to whoever is responsible for the medium level. And then if you're at the medium level and and you have situation that is above your threshold, you will escalate it to the person that is at the high level. I know someone may ask, what if the one at the high level, who does it? Please escalate it to management or to the owner of the business. And of course, preserve rationale, approvals, and lessons. Document them. Document. That's one of the job of a project manager. Documentation, documentation, documentation. And of course, as a project leader, you lead, you protect value, ensure there is trust and accountability. If you make decisions based on AI and it is always right, your stakeholders, shareholders, they will trust you. They will trust you. But if you made decisions and it went sour, of course, they will start asking, who is this person that we have put in charge? What can we do differently? So project leadership becomes the bridge between AI capability and organizational accountability. That's why you are there. You are a bridge. You will use AI to ensure that organization achieves their goals and they are accountable for what they do. So I said, you don't have to wait. Don't say, oh, when I finish the AI training or course that I'm doing, I'll be able to do this better. Don't wait. You can start today. I just decided to put Monday. Don't wait till next year. Don't wait till next month. Responsible AI does not require a perfect enterprise program to begin. So you have a business, you have an organization. First of all, take an inventory. What, as at today, what are you already using AI for? That you are using AI to make decisions. You may have to call your employees or your team members to be able to know, because some people are using it even without informing organizations. So you need to take an inventory, and then you need to classify them by consequence and risk. Those with low consequences, you put them in a category. Those with medium consequence, you put them in a different category. Those with high consequence, you put them in a different category so that you can address them, know how to handle them. Okay. And then you assign onus and escalation path, because probably you have been using this without this structure. So put someone based on their level of expertise, exposure, or what you have in your organization to handle exposure that you would say is low, and then put individual or group of people to handle the one that is medium and then one that is high. Once you assign responsibilities, then you can hold someone accountable. If you do not assign, it's like team charter. If you do not have roles and responsibility and their corresponding responsibilities, everybody will just be dodging. I thought, this person will do it and all that. And then the fourth thing that you should do, for if you are taking stock of what is already happening in the organization, is ensure that you have good set of data. Test the data and make sure you have human review controls. Don't just take anything the model gives you and then you start running with it. And of course, you learn from everything you do. You monitor outcomes, incidents, and trust. One high consequence use case governed well is more valuable than a 70-page policy nobody uses. So all you need is something that is easy. There's a saying that if you have a documented process, you are able to replicate success. So avoid having huge pages, but have something that is easy to access, and then your team members can work with it. So you need to have this mindset. There's a shift now from AI adoption to responsible value creation, just as we are also in a space where we are looking at responsible project management. So it's not enough for you to deliver your project within budget, within time, and then you deliver the scope. We are also looking at how you deliver this project. That is the ethics part of project management, and that is responsible project management. And it's the same way we are looking at AI. AI is shifting from, everybody responsibly to achieve value. So these are the 4 mindset changes that I have observed that I'm presenting to you today. Okay, so AI can deliver feedback within seconds, so the speed is high at any cost. Any cost here is not only money. It could mean, it could be impact on someone's reputation. All right, so we are moving from speed at any cost to thoughtful speed, because you are thinking of consequences. You are thinking of you holding yourself and your organization accountable. We are also moving from, compliance after deployment. Let's just deploy. When we finish, we are going to look at how to comply. We are moving from that to governance by design. The moment you start using AI, you put governance structure in place. We are moving from, AI says it. Yes, and that's what we are doing. We are moving to AI informs. And you as a leader, you decide, you make decision. That's why you'll be held accountable. We are moving from short-term efficiency of the use of AI to sustainable value. That is what makes, that is what will make organization thrive for long. So responsible leadership is not anti-innovation. Don't look at it like, so now that you want to put this in place, we will not be able to be innovative. No, it is rather to make innovation durable. So when AI helps make the decision, who remains accountable for the consequence? I think you'll be able to answer the question now. So AI may be the enabler, but leadership is the differentiator. As a leader, create value, govern the decision, protect trust. Shukran lakum. Thank you all. I need someone to tell me how I did with my attempt at speaking Arabic. So this is me, Jumoke Lafenwa. I appear on LinkedIn as Jumoke Lafenwa. If you search, you will find this person on LinkedIn. It's a project leadership and business strategy professional with over 20 years of experience across project management, strategy, research, and organizational transformation. I'm the managing partner of Okin Valley Limited. I'm a PMI authorized training partner, instructor, and partner. So I instruct, and my organization itself is ATP. I'm the immediate past president of PMI Ghana. I'm the founder of Global Ethical Project Leadership, and I'm the author of PMP Exam Mastery. Thank you so much for spending time with me this evening. These are some of the references that I used for today's presentation. And I will say here, thank you, and I will take your questions as you have them. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Jumoke. Thank you for a wonderful presentation. I can see in the comments the attendees have given their tremendous, very nice feedbacks about the session. They have learned a lot from the session. We are in short of time, so we'll take few questions. The YouTube channel link is shared in the chat box, so you can see from there, Meenakshi. We have the first question from Lena. When it comes to AI governance, do you see it as more as a tech challenge, a cultural challenge, or a leadership challenge?
From my presentation, I see it as a leadership challenge.
Oh, thanks. So, there is one question from, let's take another question. This is from Prem. We introduced the AI bot in their organization, which unfortunately made redundant few employees. So will
Sorry, please, can you talk slowly for me? I'm
okay.
sorry.
So this is from Prem. As per Prem, they introduced a AI bot in their organization, which unfortunately made redundant few employees. So will he be accountable for that?
Will he be accountable for decision made by management?
Yeah. So basically, if he
Oh,
hasn't,
yeah.
yeah. So like the last line you said regarding the accountability. Okay, who owns the consequences if something is wrong? So is it the person who has introduced the AI bot, or is it the management, or whose decision is responsible for that?
Oh, okay, I get you now. Someone introduced AI bot, but when it is used, whatever information or outputs um, the bot gives, their recommendations, their inferences, a human will base decision on that. And that person is the one that will be held accountable, not the one who introduces the bot.
Okay, thanks. We'll take one question from Shankar. Is there any international legal framework or law that can control the AI tools or model or human deliberate interventions? Is there any punishment for human or user wrongdoings?
Hmm. Um, I don't want to be quoted, but I am not sure I know anybody or like a body that is responsible for um, holding people accountable, but I'm happy to read about it and provide feedback later.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you. I'll take one more question. See, we have cyber threats. So this is from Shankar. So can the AI outcome or result can be hacked or influenced? Like we have cyber security issue like data theft or something like this.
Can you repeat the question?
Okay, so the question is it like the AI outcome or the result can be hacked or influenced, or it can be changed as per our requirement?
Yes, I think it can be hacked. I think so. I think it can be
Okay,
hacked. What we are doing now is to ensure that we put measures to help against the hack.
Okay. I'll take one last question because we are already short of time. This question is from Mohammed Riaz. Is human oversight enough to make AI responsible, or should organization also require AI system to provide explainable and auditable decision trails?
Can you please take the question for me again?
Okay, so his question is human oversight enough to make AI responsible, or the organization should have uh, his question is it like uh, the human oversight as you discussed enough to make AI responsible, or the organization also require AI system to provide explainable and auditable decision trails?
If you said human oversight, is it at the point where the human makes decision based on the AI?
um, I think we can send this question to you, and then we can reply to Mohammed Riaz if he can give us more info about the same.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Oh,
there's one question from Mohammed Munaf. Adoption has moved faster than alignment. What will be the methodology that can help the adoption of AI, ethics, and governance?
I think education, because
Mhm.
many people use AI without the awareness that they need to be ethical and provide governance. And so I hope what we are doing today is in the right direction, where we become aware, we talk about it. Maybe in the future, there will be a body that will be responsible for addressing that.
Thank you, Jumoke, and thank you everyone for giving their time during a busy weekday and being a part of this webinar. I really appreciate everyone for attending and making this webinar a success. We had more than 450 people joined this webinar. Your engagement, I saw the comments and the questions people have asked. Because of some time constraint, we were not able to take all the questions, but we really apologize for not able to take those questions. We wouldn't be here without the dedication of our team, and we thank our marketing team for promoting these webinars on the websites and social media. We also thanks all the volunteer behind the scene from membership, outreach, volunteering, and finance team to give their valuable support in making this event possible. And never to forget my colleagues who are behind the camera, Amir, Achal, Joyce, Nikki, uh, for making this webinar happen. And we have for all those people who have joined, there is a code you'll be getting in your emails by end of the day by after this webinar in your email IDs. This will be helping you in getting the PDUs for the webinar for claiming the PDUs. And thank you. Hope to see you in the next webinar. Thank you, everyone.